you're watching this, it's going to take me 2 seconds. Alright. Let's go to your videos. I wish I had a good thumbnail, but I don't. I'll make a playlist for all these live streams later. This does not contain any paid promotion. Should be all good. Save. I'm going to. You have to be subscribed to comment because I need subscribers so that I can start doing this on mobile. And public. Sorry. The mic is practically touching my mouth, so if you hear me breathing a lot, I apologize. It should go away pretty much once I'm rolling. Alright, let me look at this on YouTube and see if it's working. So, if you hear me breathing a lot, alright, and obviously while I'm riding, I'm not going to be able to respond to comments and stuff, but once I, like when I make stops at gas stations, or once I get there, I'll pull the laptop out and look at the chat and maybe respond if anybody watches or anybody comments, which maybe nobody will, but it's about 3.5 hours. I'm gonna get rolling and then stop maybe. Well, I have a peanut tank, so I have a really small gas tank, so I have to stop pretty often to fill out. It's only at a range of like 120 miles. So I'm gonna have to stop, but when I stop, then I'll check and make sure everything's still working. All right. The other guys that I work with are probably leaving the office right about now. So I might literally pass them on the highway. I gotta remind myself what I did yesterday when I streamed this was that I was like yelling, because for me it's really loud and the wind noise is loud, so I was like talking really loud into the mic, but the mic is like right next to my mouth, so I gotta remember that I can pretty much just talk normally and you guys will hear me just fine. I'm real minimal on gear today. It's funny, a lot of people don't ride a Sportster. Like, they would consider this a long distance ride. I'm going to do 3.5 hours this morning and 3.5 hours tonight. But for me, I've done some well over 1,000-mile rides on this exact bike. So I just feel kind of loose about it. I've got some minimal tools that I took out of the tool roll that I take on the longer trips. I have just like, I just took a multi-tool and tire patch kit and my little tire pump. in case I get a flat. But other than that, we're just riding very minimal, just a normal backpack. We'll see how this backpack feels. I don't have very much stuff in it, so it's not very heavy. But what I've noticed in the past is that even when it's not that heavy, having anything on my back for more than a few hours starts wearing down. I usually talk to myself while I'm riding anyway, like I said yesterday, so a lot of what I say, I've got to remember that I actually lied and don't say some things I might be talking to myself about. That's not what it is, so we're going up. Like, you can make yourself not cold by just doing we stop moving, we bring our arm, and it's a self-fulfilling. Coldest environment. I can change this right now. I can get my have a good signal the whole way. There's some mountains, mountains is a strong word, but there's some hills that I might lose it, but I put the settings at prioritizing smooth video versus quality, so that it would lower the quality before it just becomes all choppy. Whether or not it's doing that or that's working, I don't know. Sorry, I had to wipe my nose. Turns out I kind of run out of things to talk about if I'm just having to talk for hours. I might end up just pointing out birds. A good way to up watch time really quick in my videos, in my full video. But hours, but cruise control, warm them up, clap, move around a little, and you just can't do that if you have to be holding the throttle all the time. Motorcyclist and you think this looks crazy, it's wildly stable. Like, it takes effort at highway speeds to turn. Sorry, my voice is cracked. So I can take my hands off it, like move around, and the bike's not just gonna tip over. Gyroscopic forces that keep you going is why you need to turn. Is why you need to turn your first couple times. They're way greater, so you have to mentally pull or push in order to get the bike to initiate that leap. Also cool, you can kind of see, just if I want to go left, I push on the left handlebar and push. That's a good actual visual demonstration of counter steering here live as I go. 45-degree wind at 80 miles an hour. Better than coffee to wake you up in the morning. I bet we're in the 50s now. Even 50s though at highway speed, it can get chilly eventually. I mean, 50s can get chilly if you're just standing in it. But yeah, if you're not a motorcyclist and you're curious what it feels like, just in 40-degree weather, roll down your window and stick your hand out and see how long you can hold it. That's essentially what my ankles feel like right now. I do find on longer rides, you want to stay attentive. So you don't want to just lock in and zone out, because then something's going to happen. And you're not going to be loose, and you're not going to be able to deal with it. So I do think, I talk to myself when I'm riding longer rides too, and I think that talking, moving around a little bit, playing around with counter steering, doing little things that kind of keep your attention drawn to the road, it's good. It seems like it's distracting you, it's something but paying attention. It's a beautiful day. I really wish it wasn't going to rain tomorrow. Because if it wasn't, then I would just do this ride and I would go to the convention and then camp up there, rather than just rushing back. But Megan signed up. never been to that one. Been trying to get into, trying to learn more about hunting recently. So I've been exploring some of the wildlife management areas around here. We are entering beautiful Jackson, Tennessee. It's not that beautiful, this road. Well, actually, thankfully, a lot of the construction is done, but for the first couple of years that I lived here, if I ever drove through here, I despised it, because this whole area was under real heavy construction, down to one lane. It was very annoying. So that was my first impression of Jackson, which is why I didn't like it. You have to be a little bit careful coming through here. Not crazy, but this is another spot where you can get pulled over if you're just flying through. I do kind of want some food. At some point, I didn't eat breakfast or anything. But whether I do that before I get up there or once I'm at the convention, I don't know. This is our second year going up there. I did the same thing before. I just drove myself and stayed the night in Nashville. And that was great. I'm the type to like to go by myself, so if it was between sitting with 6 people in a Suburban or doing this, I tend to choose this. Not a total loner, but a bit of an introvert, kind of like having my own time. And yet here I am live streaming this. I should probably stop soon and plug in my battery bank. I think I'm just going to I brought a cord long enough to run it from my backpack to the Oswell on my chin, so. Done that at the gas station, but I think both my phone and Osmo will make it. I just don't want them to be totally dead once I get there. Refuse at any point in making YouTube videos to say like, comment, and subscribe. So do those things if you want, but me explaining that right then is the only time you'll hear me say it. I said this yesterday. Signal buttons on a Harley Sportster are I think they're like this on all Harleys, or at least most of them. Just having no positive feedback, no click going on and off. It's really annoying. There might be some type of aftermarket solution, but you'd think on a Harley being more expensive that would be something that immediately when they would put it on that they would test it and be like, oh yeah, that's annoying, and fix it, but I guess not. Like on my Honda Ruckus, I love its little, it has a little slider turn signal that clicks on and off, and it's only on the left side, and that's awesome. It works great. I'd kill for that. pretty good to just go until my fuel light comes on and then stop. I don't think there's any gaps that are so big that I wouldn't then make it to a gas station, but I don't know, we'll see. I usually measure it on long rides I measure it by doing miles. I just reset the trip when I fill, so that I can see how many miles, and I got a general idea of how many miles I can go. Also annoyed with myself. I was going to make a thumbnail just like this, like just an image of the bike riding so that people could see exactly what the stream's going to look like on the thumbnail, but I didn't do that before I started it, so I'll have to do that next time. Just because you're scrolling and you see live stream and it's just like a picture of me, like my profile picture or whatever. No. It's not as interesting. Seeing a lot of Can-Am hauling trucks. That was like my third one that I saw parked in there. This Can-Am stands for, I think it's Canadian American. It's a Canadian company, but I think it's like literally means Canadian American? Is that what it means? Canadian American? We had a Sea-Doo growing up. That was fantastically fun. Didn't have a lot of crazy toys like that, but did have that and did have a dirt bike, so that was pretty great. I think a lot of my skill with riding on the road and a lot of what's kept me safe is the fact that and I reacted before my mind could think, and I think it just goes back to learning on dirt, hopping up front end where you're on dirt, slow speeds, and just building up muscle memory as to what to do when that happens. But yes, this is a very simple bike. No ABS, no fuel gauge. There's actually a light that says ABS, so I wonder if it's a feature that can be. Can you get ABS on a Harley 48? Maybe, but this one sure doesn't have it. I don't mind. I'm not opposed to it either way. I'm not like one of those that say it'd be dumb to have ABS. The car, it's just one pedal for four wheels. I'm not claiming to be good enough to do that. But I'm sure if I was in a parking lot practicing a bunch to just see how fast I could absolutely stop from like 40 or something. I could get pretty good at it, pretty quick. Oop, got a wreck. Wonder what happened here. Interesting. Probably, since it's just one car and there's no weather today or anything, probably just wasn't paying attention and drifted off into the median. cuts off or something goes wrong and I don't notice, and it just like stays public, but it's all messed up. Obviously, I can't be checking it. I could also just do this as not live, and I could just record the whole ride and post the whole thing, but that seems kind of boring to me. I like the live aspect. I always see that and think, what kind of a scam is that? It's just like an old barn that just said, pass me, so. And I'm not, so. I'm not gonna keep pace. I'm not gonna keep pace if some sport bike wants to pass me. Commute on a sports tour is totally fine. I'm going 75 right now. Power band sitting at 3,500 RPMs. Fine. So that discussion is just wild to me. I'm sure an 883 is fine too. I'm sure a 250 geared properly would probably sit at 70 miles an hour for most of the day. Perfect timing. My fuel light popped on. Here's a gas stop. I don't know how far the next one is, so I'm just gonna go here, and then that'll let me plug in my cameras. On longer rides, I always carry a fuel bag, but I didn't do that today. I probably should have. As soon as I left, I was like, I probably should have done that. Because I'm not using a GPS and I'm not that familiar with this highway. I've ridden it a few times, but I'm not familiar with where every gas station is, so I was like, an extra gallon would be nice, but I'm sure I'll live. I can stop and I can do a few jumping jacks. Diesel. 93, thank you for having 93. Ooh. Yeah, it's always when you stop that you feel how numb you actually are. My legs actually are pretty numb. And my hands, like my dexterity is going down a little bit. Let's shake it out. Alright, again, I'm gonna... I'll just take the camera off my chin mount. That way I can look at it. Oh, sick. Battery's still going pretty well. Cool. I'll just set you right there. Hello, this is me. Just so that I'm not putting my card numbers and my phone screen on the internet. Again, it may seem annoying to have to do fuel stops like this often, but only takes a second because I'm only putting 2 gallons of fuel in it. Okay. I actually was once able, I did like 1,000 miles in one day, because the storm held me up and I had to get back for work the next day. So I had to rip. So I went all the way from South Dakota to Tennessee in one day. And when doing that, I'd basically just be ripping along from fuel station to fuel station. And I was actually able to keep pace with what the GPS was telling me, the average that a car would take. And so that was pretty good. I was like, even with the fuel stops, I cut time off of what the GPS was saying it would take me. Alright, cool. Okay, I'm gonna check the live stream on my phone. If you're still watching, it's a DJI Osmo. I'll respond to this guy. On a chin mount, and I'm hotspotting from my cell phone, period. I don't have 1,000 subscribers, so I can't start it mobily, but I can start it from a laptop before I leave. Oh, yeah, you were watching, so you could hear me. You heard me voice text responding to that. Cool. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna plug this into my back. My phone's doing fine on battery. The Osmo is a little bit, it's like at half battery, I think, right now. So I'm gonna run a cord from my backpack. This might be a little bit weird because I'll have an actual wire coming out, but it should be okay. Let's see how I want to do this. Is this going to be long enough? Sorry. Sorry if this is boring for a second. I gotta figure out, because I don't want some big cord dangling either. It's a nice little battery bank that has this. I think this will be long enough. If I go from maybe if I go from my side pocket on my backpack, it'll be more manageable. Because obviously I don't want anything unsafe, so I don't want like a cord flopping around or anything that's too distracting to me. Drink some water. Well, I'm stopped. Sorry for whatever this sounds like. Oh, in the microphone is a DJI Mic 2 that actually perfectly kind of clips into the cheek pad and sticks out right in front of my mouth. So and it has I have a little windsock on it. So it actually sounded way better than I thought it was going to. Oh, man. Again, sorry for not responding to things. But I'm sure you guys can understand. Okay, cool. Stick you back on my helmet. Oh, and the other thing I love about the Osmo versus a GoPro is that quick disconnect, so I don't have to like do the whole screw-in thing with the GoPro mount. It can just do a quick disconnect, and it's really very secure. Okay, so I got the cord. This is kind of weird because I can't really see the camera, but I don't feel like taking my helmet off. So I gotta remember which side the plug-in is on. Okay, it's the other side. There we go, got it. Okay, so I'm just running this cord basically over my shoulder to the Osmo. I think that'll probably be okay. I don't think it'll bother me that much. If it does, I'll just pull off and fix it. I actually once, something dangerous, but I didn't even notice it. I literally didn't even feel it when it happened. But once had a strap on a backpack swing down and catch in my rear tire, and it ripped off, and I literally never even felt it. So the forces of me on the highway must have just shredded it. But it was like the tail end on a ratchet strap that was holding my backpack to the sissy bar, and I guess it just, however I had it stowed, just came loose, and it swung down, and so I got to my destination, and the tail end was just ripped clean off, and I was like, oh, I'm glad it didn't lock up my wheel. All right, let's go to Nashville. 10:15. I'll actually, I'll do my trip reset so that I know my makeshift fuel gauge. There we go. So that I know when I need to stop for fuel. Poor man's fuel gauge. That's another thing. I do think if I had to redesign this bike, I might add a fuel gauge. It's the combination of having such a small tank and no fuel gauge that can make it a little challenging. There's a scene in Bob's Burgers where he's like feeling bad about the restaurant, and he falls asleep, and he has a dream where he just has like a normal job. And in his commute, he's humming this tune that's just like ba-da-da-da-da-da, and that's like the background music. And I don't know why I watched that episode probably once forever ago, but for some reason that tune sticks in my head, and I think it a lot when I'm riding a motorcycle along. I'm just like cruising, I'm just like ba-da-da-da-da-da. I think he does ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Memorable, because that scene is really memorable. I loved it. I love that. If you watch the show, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Yes, I am an adult, and I usually watch Bob Burgers. It's okay.
other guys don't beat me by way too much. I like these Mazda CX-50s. I had one as a, I don't think I would buy one, but I had one as a rental car. It did really well in the snow, and that means renting a lot of cars. And I kind of like that because it means that I try out a ton of different brands and I know what I like and what I don't like. Not that I'm even really in the market, it's just funny. Something else. Meanwhile, my other vehicle is a 99 Ford Ranger. So, this is my main vehicle too, by the way. So, I have the truck and I drive it sometimes. Like sometimes I take it to work sometimes I'm just not feeling like riding a motorcycle. But for the most part, 85% of the time, I'm on the motorcycle. I think that also might keep me a little safer. Obviously, not like when you're talking about that amount of time on a motorcycle, that's more dangerous. But the fact that I'm always fresh, like I'm always like, it's never like I haven't ridden in 6 months and I get out for the first time and I'm not used to it anymore. I'm like constantly practicing, so I'm very used to it at all times. Very much on my game. Because if you're a rider, if you know, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't ride for a little while and then you jump back on, there's a period of time where you gotta kind of shake the rust off, as with anything. So just riding constantly, I'm never winterizing my bike. It stays operational all the time, and that just kind of keeps me sharp. I even, and if you think it's too cold where you are to ride, I went to school in Syracuse, New York, and I rode my moped through the winter. Sorry about that truck. I didn't mean to block you. Through the winter to school. It was only like a couple miles, but I still have that moped. It's sitting in my living room right now, disassembled. Because the carb got clogged up and it wasn't running right, so it just wasn't running right. I actually don't know exactly what it was, but parts for that are really cheap. So instead of like trying to fix everything, I just ordered a new fuel pump, new fuel lines, new fuel, and so I got to put it all back together. But was like sub $100. So maybe fix this, or maybe something is going wrong with the fuel pump or whatever. And so take the time trying to figure that out, or just replace it all because it's 10 years old and might as well. The cost of operating it's basically non-existent. So $100 once every 10 years. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm talking about my Honda Ruckus, if you didn't hear that. Like I mentioned earlier, I need new tires soon. These are getting towards the end, and the wear pattern on the front one has been a little weird. You can kind of see that I get a little bit of a weave every once in a while. So I gotta figure out what's going on with that. It's not a big deal, as long as I'm aware of it. Things on motorcycles you can still ride them and it can be fine. that you don't freak out if it starts to happen. Panic is probably the quickest way to wreck a bike. Yeah, there was like some crash statistic. It's like I forget what the number was. It was like significant. It was like 70% of motorcycle crashes. The person never even used their front brake, which is, if you ride a motorcycle, your main brake. That's how you stop. Because when people panic, just the knowledge goes out the window, and they act differently. So it's like, in some huge percentage of crashes where the motorcycle hits something, a lot of times the person is panicking at the end and they like lock up the rear and aren't even properly using their front brake at all. Just an interesting tidbit. Feeling a little warmer. The sun's out, it's on my legs, so I feel a little bit better. Like I said, when I left it was probably low 40s. So that was kind of cold. I mean, I ride in that all the time, but it gets cold when you're in it for an hour or so. And I didn't wear anything. Literally no special gear. No warm socks, no long johns. These are just normal jeans and my normal riding full leather jacket. And these are not insulated gloves. These are just my normal riding gloves. Those are pieces of gear that I always wear. I'm kind of laissez-faire with the gear, but also not. Like I always wear over-ankle boots. I always wear my helmet, I always wear gloves, and then on the highway I always wear my, this is an actual riding jacket, so made to ride in. I'm not always great about the pants. I do have riding jeans that are Kevlar lined, but I don't always wear those, like I'm not wearing them right now. And that's just for comfort. And because that's not a deadly, I mean,